In Dubai, everything is much bigger. So, you have to look at things more widely. In Europe, overall, the things are a little bit more centralized. What I believe is the most important thing, that you're very focused about what you're doing. Let's say to the gym, I go to the gym every day and I see guys that have been there for 3, 4, 5 years and they looked exactly the same. Because when they are there, he do 2, 3 reps and then he look at Instagram 5 minutes, then he drink a little water, it is not effective.
There's no focus and there's no delivering of the result.
Exactly. When you have found your niche or whatever you want to do and you feel secure about it, then stick to it. The minute you start to doubt yourself, it's finished. Because if you don't believe in yourself, in your head,
Then who's going to believe?
then you're already out.
If you could tell me one piece of advice that you would share with your younger self, what would that be? All right, we're here with another podcast episode, and I have a special guest with me here, Nicolas Farago. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much. The pleasure is mine.
I always say when I start a podcast, I'll leave to the guests to introduce themselves. So I have the mic for you.
Amazing. So my name is Nicolas Farago. I'm into the automotive business, entrepreneur. I have various dealerships and I've lived in Dubai now for 15 years. So I consider myself maybe as half Emirati now.
Yeah, you're pretty much, you're Mahati now.
Exactly. So this country took me by storm and I now call this my home.
So when it comes to moving to Dubai, what made you decide to go 15 years ago? Like, I'm going to choose Dubai and come here. And you said like you had only $5,000.
Exactly. So it's a bit of a crazy story. I love my country. Sweden is an amazing country. But I've always liked a little more hot climate. I came as a tourist one time to Dubai and I fell in love with the country.
What year was that?
We are talking about 2008. So basically the time when
When the crisis happened.
the crisis, and it was about to be the interrogation or the first day of Burj Khalifa. So it was just by December of 2008, if I'm not mistaken. And shortly after that, I moved down. That time I was working in the Volvo factory in Gothenburg in Sweden, producing vehicles. And I had a side business that was exporting used cars from Sweden to Africa, to Lebanon, and so on. And when I came to Dubai, I just saw all of these opportunities and all these kind of cars that are very attractive for the export market. And I just saw, like the dollar signs in the eyes. And I said, this could be an opportunity. Me being very young, I was like 20 or 21 maybe or something like that. I didn't have so much capital. Basically what I could arrange was maybe $5,000 and I came with that. And I rented my first apartment actually in Sharjah, in Abu Shagara, where was the car market.
So you're not even living in Dubai at that time?
I was not even living in Dubai the first year, I believe. Yeah, the first year. So the first full year I was living in Abu Shagara in Sharjah because the old car market was there. It was also more economic because then I could just walk out to the market and search for the vehicles. That's basically a little bit how I started out. Very, very basic with some customers in Africa and looking for some used vehicles for them from the market and ship from here.
So how did, when you first coming here you came to Sharjah, but let's say when you moved to Dubai.
Yeah.
How did that change your perspective in life compared to being in Sweden?
In Dubai, everything is much bigger. So, you have to look at things more widely. In Sweden or in Europe overall, the things are a little bit more centralized and a little bit, how I can explain. It's not so common that you can think outside of the box or that you can do something very different than what everybody else is doing. It's more that, this is the way to do it and everybody is doing the same way. In Dubai, it's more that the government and how the country is built, they are helping people to fulfill their dreams. We will come in more to that, but everything from setting up companies, the free zones and all of that, like all of the tools are there in a much different way than they are in Europe, I would say.
I believe it takes much more time to set up a business there.
And also if we're looking into my type of work, which is basically import for re-export, it's very difficult to do it from Europe because you have maybe one free zone that works okay, which is like Antwerp in Belgium. But then you have the taxes and you have all of this and 10 times more paperwork and to start up small, I believe you have much bigger success rate in UAE because it doesn't take that much money to do it. In Europe, you have to do it in a bigger scale, immediate, to make it work. And I don't believe everybody have that financial possibility immediate.
So before we go to business and
Yeah.
talk more about that, what do you do as Nicholas, who's in Dubai, to unwind and relax? What do you do exactly?
Well, I wish I knew this a little bit earlier also, but I believe it's very important to stay fit in your body, to stay fit mentally. I believe training is very important. It's for me, it's not about having an amazing body. For me, it's about feeling good mentally and to unwind. So that has been the best medicine for me, actually, that usually after a very hectic and stressy day at work, before you bring all of that home to the home and you're stressed and it's like you never stop working, the best way will be to hit the gym direct and, you leave all of the stress and everything in the gym, and then you come home and you're happy and relaxed. So, yeah.
What about in terms of your journey? Now, you've been here for 15 years in Dubai.
Yeah.
What has happened that has shaped your journey along the way?
I mean, so much, because Dubai is a country that is always developing. So, I mean, there is always something new happening every year. So you have to follow the development. There is two ways. There is people who is staying with the old, and that's fine. And I'm also a bit old school in some senses. But development is always good. So you have to use the new tools that the government and the country is giving you. So I mean, everything from new ports, new airports. I mean, all of these new tools is helping in my business because we need the best logistic possible. And now for me, UAE and Dubai and specifically is one of the biggest hubs in the world. So yeah.
You said something about the hub.
Yeah.
How do you see Dubai evolving on this trading hub exactly?
I mean, for me, honestly, I believe it's the number one. The different tools we have and the different ways we can do export and import, I don't believe it's available in any other part of the world right now. And it's only growing. It's only growing. So Jebel Ali, I believe, is the biggest man-made port in the world. It's amazing. It's fast. It's secure. Now they're building the new airport. So I mean, yeah. In my line of business, I believe this is the place where you have to be.
So when you're saying that this is a place for people to have to be, what's your advice for newcomers who are coming to Dubai?
I mean, you definitely should set up in a free zone. That's the first step to do.
Non-mainland?
If you're into to my type of work, which is export, import, and export, you have to be in a free zone, I believe. If you will do something locally, you will produce something, you will sell something locally, then definitely a mainland company. But the government here made it possible to have a free zone just because people of like me, because basically you have something entering the country, but for a certain period of time, and then it will go out again. So this is the problem you have in other countries, because then you have to pay the duty, the VAT, and you block all of this money, and then you export it, and then you get your money back in 3 months or 6 months. And this is very, it's money blocked you can use to grow your business instead. So my advice is definitely a free zone, yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about your business? What is exactly that you do?
All right. So basically, what we do is that we sell brand new vehicles for export. We have supplied vehicles to more than 60 countries around the world right now. We are currently very focused on South America, but we do as well a lot to Europe, to Africa, to Asia. China as well is one of our big markets. The difference between us and the question I always get is that, okay, but why doesn't I just walk into the Toyota dealership in so-and-so country in South America, for example? But the big difference is that the availability we have in UAE is so much bigger than all of the other countries, almost.
Really? Why is
Yeah.
that?
I mean, the quantities we're getting to UAE and the variety of models is usually much bigger than you get in other continents. So I have many of my clients in different countries, and they're going into a Toyota dealership or a Lexus dealership, and they want to buy a certain model. And there is a waiting list of 12 months to 16 months.
For
And
Toyota?
yeah, for Toyota. And then I have 100 of them in my yard standing and, ready to be shipped tomorrow. So that's the big difference. Also, the difference is like when we talk about the quantity again. So let's say that it will come 10,000 brand new Toyota vehicles to Dubai a month. or UAE, it would come 500 to another country. So his price buying from factory will also be very different than the price for us to buy it here. Because, yeah, I mean, if you buy 10,000 or you buy 500, it's a very different price level. So that's basically where we come into the market, that we supply where there is a big demand and they don't have the availability.
You mentioned something interesting where you said you only had $5,000 at time.
Yeah.
So how did you get that $5,000 to the point where now you're exporting hundreds of cars
Yeah.
overseas?
So basically, that was hard-earned money, working in a factory in Volvo, and also a little bit from the side business of the cars. So I believe I paid for the tickets, and then I had like $5,000 left. Then I started to a little bit with transportation of vehicles, just to get to know and understand the export system of UAE. So I had a couple of friends that had company inside Mina Rashid, Port Rashid. And that time, when we talk about 14, 15 years ago, the big market to sell from UAE was Iraq. So we did a lot of export to Iraq, and I got my first customer from Iraq. And then, yeah, I started to sell to them slowly. So basically, from every year, it went to, like, let's say the first year I came, I managed to sell 10 cars.
What was the first car you ever sold?
My first car I ever sold, I believe, was like Toyota Corolla, like 1992, like brown color, to like Benin.
That was from here?
No, that was from Sweden.
Okay.
To like Benin Cotonou, West Africa. I believe that was like one of my first cars, or like maybe a Toyota Hiace bus, because that was the type of vehicle we were selling that time.
And when you were finding those clients that are overseas, whether they were in Iraq or
Yeah.
how do you actually find the client?
So before, when we talk about 15 years ago, 14 years ago, 13 years ago, it was more about mouth to mouth.
Yeah, there was no social media. No one's gonna know.
Exactly. So it was more mouth to mouth, that, okay, I know this guy, or, this guy is good, talk to Farago, and, so it was more this way. And now, yeah, it's definitely social media. It's definitely social media. So now we are present in Instagram and, Facebook and all of these kind of platforms. And me personally, I'm traveling a lot to all of these markets. So like every third month, I'm in South America. Now, next month, I will go to Asia.
Where do you go to exactly?
So when we talk about South America right now, our markets is a lot like Venezuela, Colombia, Peru, Chile, Bolivia. So it's more centralized over there. Mexico, for example, and Argentina, they have a lot of local production. They have Toyota factories, so they buy a lot locally because the prices are good there. But yeah, the other countries I mentioned, there is definitely a huge demand.
So you, as Nicholas, when you're going to those specific cities or those countries, you're going there to visit dealers, or you visit a certain event or show, or
So basically, if we talk about today and where we are at today, we sell a lot to governments. It can be to military, it can be to police, it can be to the president, it can be to, whatever. And we do a lot to charity organizations. We're an official supplier to UN, UNCHR, all of this. And a lot of this will be tender, but we are a registered supplier since before, so a lot of the deals will always come to us. When we talk about the Ebola outbreak, we were one of the biggest suppliers that were doing all of the ambulances and sending to Sierra Leone, for example, and those were going by flights from UAE because it was very hectic to get them there fast.
So this is very important that you mentioned that you're going to government deals.
Yeah.
What has been the biggest challenge from going to regular customers, car experts, to now dealing with governments?
Yeah.
And being able to sell to customers.
So it's quite a huge difference between selling one car to a private person and doing a contract of 500 vehicles to a government. So you really need to be sure about what you're doing, that you have the supply, that you can deliver on time, because it will be very heavy contracts. So you have to be very sure that you actually can comply on every single point. This is the kind of deals that right now give me the satisfaction in the line of work. I believe you can make money to a certain point, and then that doesn't trigger you so much anymore.
Because it's based on volume.
Yeah.
It's a huge volume.
Yeah, so now it's more the volume, and it's more about the growth, that I will grow the company, or, I will get access to bigger and bigger and bigger deal. This is what is triggering me right now, I believe. The difference is that those deals will usually take a lot more time. So if I sell one car privately. I have it out in the showroom. We go out to make a video. This is the car. It comes with this and that and that and that. And he said, good. I send the money and ship it. When it's government, it's a lot more paperwork and it's a lot more compliance. And maybe you will work on a deal for 6 months before it actually takes place. And then when it takes place, maybe it can be shipping in partial shipment. So it will take another 6 months. So yeah, basically when you do a deal like that, it could be, take a year.
And when we're talking about those deals, not to be as much upfront, are we talking 6 figures, 7 figures, 8? How much does this go usually?
Those are big.
Big.
Those are big, yeah. The numbers are big, yeah. So without telling like this, but brand new vehicles are not so cheap. And if you sell 1,000, yeah.
Because I always think of it when it comes to car experts, you're looking at the very small margin when you're selling from brand deals.
I
If
mean,
you're selling one car or so too.
yeah,
But if you're selling a huge volume, then I could see for sure.
exactly. So basically there is two ways. There's two ways to look at this business. So usually, let's say that the dealers I sell to around the world. So let's say we have a dealer in Ghana, and this guy, he's buying 10 vehicles from me each month. He has to make his living on these 10 vehicles. So again, here we come on the difference between me and the official dealers in other countries, because their volume is less, so they need to make all of their profit in 10 cars or 20 cars or 30 cars. I have to make my profit in 500 car a month, 700 car a month. So I can take a much lesser profit, but we do volume.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the key difference, I would say. Yeah.
How do you build trust?
Trust is a very, very, very important issue, and I will explain it by one way that a very wise man once told me. And he told me that if you have a glass of water and you drop it on the floor and it will go in 1,000 different pieces, he said, even how much glue and whatever you have and you will try to puzzle it together, it will never be the same, because you will sip and it will come out little water or whatever. And this is the trust. So basically, once you have built the trust, never let it go, because it will never be the same again. And I would say that 70-80% of the big deals that I'm doing for government or, like very big high profile people is based on trust, because we have a trust and they know, like, Farago, he's honest. And many of my customers, they will say that, no, I prefer sending the money to Farago because it's safer than the bank. So this is a trust, but it takes time and you have to prove yourself. So I'm a man of my word, and I like to see action. I like to see people actually do what they're saying they will do. Words is only words, but you have to prove that the words actually have something behind it. And it takes time. And many of the new clients, they will try you. So basically, maybe he wants to buy 500 cars, but he will start with 5 cars. So he will check, okay, Farago said it will cost this amount of money. He will ship on this date, and on this day I will get paper. Okay. This will be the test, and everything went good. Then he will do next time 20 cars and next time 50 cars. So
they're trying to test your words with actions.
Exactly. And they have all the right to do it, because to put that kind of confidence in a new person immediate, I wouldn't do it either, because it's a huge risk and it's a lot of money involved. But I would say once again that 70-80% of my big deals that I do is with my existing customers that are with me for many, many, many years, and they don't look left and they don't look right. And even if there will come some new player who want to try to grab my customers, and he's willing to do a deal even to lose money just to try to get my customers. Luckily today, because of the confidence that we have built during many years, they won't sell me for $500 here or $300 here, because they feel safe dealing with me. And it's the same for me, without mention exactly who and from where, but let's say there is a lot of manufacturers and a lot of brands that are contacting me because they know that we have a huge network and they want me to take on their brand and start to sell their vehicles. However, many of these manufacturers or brands are not so serious. So let's say that, okay, you pay, you will get your delivery by the end of month. If I get a delivery end of month of 200 vehicles, maybe 100 is pre-sold. But if I don't get the delivery on time, I can also not deliver on time to my customers.
So you mean the brands themselves, they're not able to deliver?
Sometimes, yes, sometimes. So even from my side, I'm also very picky of who I deal with and which brand I will work with and so on. Because in the end, it's my name.
Your reputation.
My reputation, exactly. So if I can't deliver on time for whatever reason, I'm still the guy to blame. So yeah, you have to be very selective of who you deal with and who you don't deal with in this business. Yeah.
You once mentioned to me that you were exporting to 60 countries.
Yeah.
What kind of strategies lets you maintain that quality and still deliver to 60 countries?
So, nobody is Superman in this world. So you obviously need to have a very great team. I started out alone and I did everything alone. But yeah, you can't work 20 hours per day for all your life alone. It's not so healthy. So you need good people around you. And then you need to be able to delegate the different tasks to the correct people. And this is something that is difficult as an entrepreneur, difficult as a control freak, but you have to do it. And I believe that the right way to do it is to really develop the people around you and give them the time they need. And now, thanks God, I have very good people with me. We are a very good team, and everybody have their certain area. So basically, what we do is that we separate different parts of the world. So let's say that now, since I'm the only guy, for example, in the office speaking Spanish, I'm very focused on handling the South American customers. We have another guy, he speaks Arabic fluent, so he's handling, Algeria, Morocco, Egypt, all of these markets because of the language. So I believe in my line of work, this has been the way to divide it. Uh, Sometimes it's not easy, but yeah, you develop with it always, and you find new ways, and you find easier ways, and you find better ways, and so yeah, it's a constant development. We are not perfect, but I would say that we are very, very, very close to perfection.
How do you find the right people for your team?
Very difficult, extremely difficult, extremely difficult.
You could put it in the list on LinkedIn. What do you actually
Yeah,
do to find those people?
for me, it has been more to search around the trustable people I have around me. So we have one guy, for example, who is a very close friend of my family, and I'm a close friend of his brother, his father, and all of them. And then already I know that the trust is there. So, sometimes we have a lot of money in the office, we have a lot of payments. Maybe if I'm away on a trip, you have to be able to leave your office and, with closed eyes. Otherwise, you can't survive. So that has been one of my strategy to start in that way. In the other has been more of looking at the people with the experience in certain fields. So in the work is many different areas. So you have finance, economy, you have sales, you have paperwork, custom work. You have yeah.
So how did you find them? How do you find those specific people?
So basically, some of them I found mouth to mouth from the market by references.
Are they like agencies that you work with, for example?
No. So all of them are my employees. But
Mm.
let's say that we're in a market, and let's say I asked my neighbor, and I said, "Listen, I'm looking for a PRO. Do you know anybody?" And the guy who's working there is a PRO. He's saying, I have my cousin, and he's trustable, and I've known the neighbor for 10 years. I know that this guy is trustable. So my way has been a little bit more old school. I want to have some reference that I know of, more than just putting on an ad on Dabizel and, the guy comes and then he's gone in 3 months or whatever, you don't know. So that has been more my way.
Through word of mouth.
Through word of mouth, by reference, I can feel a little bit more safe that way. I know that this guy, he don't want to look bad in front of me, and this is his cousin. So, I don't have to say too much because he will be on him, so.
Oh, sure, because your business deals a lot with the reputation.
Exactly.
Every business usually has to deal with having a certain type of quality named attached to them.
Exactly.
So I'm sure that because you wanted to contain and sustain this reputation,
Exactly.
you wanted the same people to be there with.
Exactly. So usually what I will say in the office is that, we are all Farago.
Mhm.
So it's not me, like I'm the owner, I'm Mr. Farago. We're all Farago. So we are all, it's in all of our interest to keep the reputation good because we all represent Farago. And it's from the smallest detail to the biggest detail. I mean, I like to provide good cars for my employees, that all of them are driving around in good cars. Is nothing that I have to do, but I do it because that represents me and the company. If we work with cars, all of my guys should drive nice cars. So it's like if
You want like if you're winning, you want the team to win.
exactly. I mean, if you're working in a nice clothing store, I mean, you should dress very well because that represents what you're doing. So I believe that's the way to look at it, and I believe that is giving the complete picture of who we are. And it's a little bit like the saying, like people say, okay, when they look at your wife, is the mirror of you. So it's a little bit the same for the company. I see it as my baby, and that we're all representing the company. We are all the image of the company.
Since you mentioned the family is one critical component for
Absolutely.
making your business successful and making your life successful or not.
Absolutely.
How do you ensure that the person with you is the right person that will help you?
It's very difficult. So I believe communication is extremely important. So you have to communicate with your spouse. What is your goals? What are your dreams? And it's very important that that person is on board, because if you have one vision and she doesn't share the same vision, it will be extremely difficult. Also,
Was your family in the beginning supportive?
yes, extremely. And it's also like, if you're married to an entrepreneur, he will maybe work a little bit more than a guy working 9 to 5. So
For
that's
sure.
also something that the spouse has to agree to, that, okay, I take this responsibility. And then, everything in life is a balance. So with the years, I've become better and better to balance the life. When I was younger, no. So basically, it was work 20 hours a day, and then maybe you neglect some other things, which is not good. So now I like to look at it more about effective time. So, for example, in my office, I don't look if people come to the office at 9:45 or 9:55 or 10:05. What I look at is the actual time when they are in office, the results. You can be in an office and, look at Instagram for 2-3 hours and you don't do anything, or you will be in the office for 4 hours and, you are going in 190 effective time, talking to customer, calling, doing this, sending email, whatever. And so there will be some guys in 4 hours who will do more than the guy that was sitting 12 hours because he's effective. And it comes same, let's say, to the gym. I go to the gym every day and I see guys that have been there for 3, 4, 5 years and they looked exactly same. Because when they are there, he do 2, 3 reps and then he look at Instagram 5 minutes, then he drink a little water. It is not effective.
There's no focus and there's no delivering of the results.
Exactly. So this is what I believe is the most important thing, that you are very focused about what you're doing. So I like to look at results. Or let's say we have a morning meeting and I say, this is the things I want to be done today. And then if it's take 3 hours or 8 hours, I doesn't care, but this is what I need to get done. So yeah, that's my way of looking at it. I believe that effective time is what everybody should look at as company owners or entrepreneurs, instead of, you need to check in at 8 and leave at 7. I don't believe that is the way to go.
Now we talked a lot about the team.
Yeah.
If we can summarize this and say, what is that one leadership rule that drives the team?
Well, it's a lot of rules. It's a lot of rules, but basically what I have tried to always focus on is to always be honest. In a lot of businesses, it's a lot of fake promises. I don't believe in it. I believe in being straightforward. If there is a problem, say the problem immediate. That will gain the confidence. If we messed up, that can happen because nobody are robots. Be honest, immediate. So the honest route is, I believe, our key rule in the company, that whatever happened, we will always be honest against ourselves, with our colleagues and the customers. And then we come again to the confidence, because then that will also build with the customers. I believe many people, and it's a lot in Dubai, is inshallah, and tomorrow, after tomorrow, maybe tomorrow, if not tomorrow, the day after. I don't believe in that way. So for me, Monday means Monday.
You got to do it.
You got to do it.
Yeah.
And if I can't do it on Monday, and I promise Monday, then I have to call and let them know that unfortunately I can't do it, and I'm sorry, but I will make it on Tuesday.
So you accept failure at the same time.
I mean,
in a way,
you can't avoid failure. It's impossible. So, but there is a certain percentage. So if we have failure 1 or 2 times in 100, I can accept it. We can live with that. But when we start to get to failure 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, that's not acceptable.
And what do you do in that case?
No, then obviously something has failed, and then something has failed from my part, because I'm the one that has to educate my people. I'm the one that has to give them the right platform, the right tools, the right ways to make it happen. So then it comes down to me. Then I have to look at myself in the mirror and look.
Interesting perspective.
Yeah,
So you're not pointing the blame on someone else.
No. If I know that my people did everything they could, but it didn't happen, then either I put the goal too high, or they don't have the right tools to make it happen. And then I have to look at myself and I have to find the solution. So in the end, I look at it this way. I'm the person who have to provide all of the necessary tools for my employees to be able to fulfill what they need to do. They can't do the magic. They don't have the authority to say, you know what, we need to buy this for $10,000 or we need to buy this for $5,000. No, I am the one. So I have to find the solutions. If we're not selling enough, we're not meeting our goals. Why? Don't we have the right products? Don't we have enough inventory? Do we need to do something new marketing-wise? What are we missing out? So then I have to, again, to look myself in the mirror. So this is the key thing, what I am every day trying to do, to look myself in the mirror and find new ways or how we can develop, how we can always be on top of things. And now in this business, we have been kind of a pioneer because we are usually the company that will start with some new trend or do something new, and then it takes 2-3 months, and then all of our competitors will do the same. But it will always be us that are the first one to do it, and it can be everything from different type of videographing, different type of doing videos with a model that is explaining about the car, the trips out to the customer, because many people are a lot fat and happy, and yeah, I sit here and while the customer walk in from the door and he want to buy. I started immediate that no, you have to go out and meet the customers. It's different face to face. And that's one of my perspective, the old school business type, that it's amazing with all of the new technology, what we have. It's amazing and we use it every day. But I don't want to lose that personal contact. I believe it's very important because when you build that relationship and, you break bread with someone and you sit and eat together, that you create some kind of a bond.
It cannot be done virtually.
Exactly. And that's very difficult to do over WhatsApp or do over email, or, it become very vague. So tomorrow, if that guy receives 10 emails from another guy, he don't have any loyalty to you. But, if you met him several times and he feels secure with you and, maybe you invited him to your home or whatever, there is some kind of personal relation out of the business relation, which I believe is very important. And it's all of those relations that basically are built over the years that, we're doing so good numbers today.
And I'm sure that's what made you successful today.
I believe so. That's one of the keys. Absolutely. That's one of the keys. I would say. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Now, let's go into some value-added advice for the audience.
Okay.
You started with 5,000.
Yeah.
For the audience, what would be one of the first step that someone should take with their limited resources?
Yeah. So basically, the first thing is you need to have a game plan. You need to know what you want to do. The problem is that many people have so many ideas, but they spread them out and then they just get confused. They want to do this and that and that and that. And they're all over the place,
Every shiny object.
Yeah. So, you have to focus and really put all of your efforts in one thing. I don't believe that you can do 2 or 3 or 4 things simultaneously perfect. Do one perfect first and then go on the second one. And when you have found your niche or whatever you want to do and you feel secure about it, then stick to it. In this world, there is a lot of naysayers. So what I usually do is when I want to do something, I just do it. I take my time to think about it. I make my research. And when I feel I want to do it, I just do it. And I don't look back. Then I go full force. But I believe that a big problem that many people have is that they're calling their 10 friends, they're calling their parents, they're calling their cousin. And, 90% of people will say, no, this will not work. And, don't put your money in this, because there is a lot of no-sayers in this world. So this would be my advice.
Would you say your family was one of those no-sayers?
No, luckily my family no. But I've
This
seen...
is usually the closest people around.
Exactly. But I've seen it so many times, from friends. You know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to open this. And then you meet him after 2 months and you say, okay, well, what happened? I know, my friends told me that, no, it's not a good idea because he has a friend and he has a friend. No, then you're out. The minute you start to doubt yourself, it's finished. Because if you don't believe in yourself, in your head,
then who's going to believe?
Then who is going to believe you?
Yeah.
Then you're already out. So don't let anybody affect your mind. So then you just have to do it. Once you have done it, then people can talk whatever they want, because they can't affect you. You did it. There was hundreds of people that said that I wouldn't success in what I would do. European guy going into a Middle Eastern country, open up in the free zone, doing this, working with South America, working with China, working with all of those markets. But I made it happen. I learned the languages. I learned the cultures. I went traveling. I went to places where people said, no, you can't go there because they will kill you because it's dangerous. I'm still living. So I made all of these things that everybody said it's impossible and you can't do. But in my head, I could do it and I did it. So I believe this is the mind game that you have to do. You have to be a step ahead of everybody and listen to yourself. And when you believe you can do something, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Don't listen to anybody. Just do it.
Sound advice.
Yeah.
So in terms of negotiation, what is key to successful negotiation? Since you've been dealing with a lot of people, different countries,
Yeah.
different places, what's the key to that successful negotiation?
So the key for me is it's a balance. So you have to be firm. You have to be educated in what you do, because if you want to sell something and do something which you're not educated about, then it doesn't make sense and you're already gone. So I believe that would be the key thing. You shouldn't be too pushy. This is what I see a lot of people today in many sectors, that they're too pushy.
How do you know if you're too pushy?
So let's say that, let's take an example, real estate. Let's say you buy an apartment here in Dubai and then 50 agents, they will call you a day and they want to sell, and they're pushy. So even if you tell them, please don't call me back or please don't do that, and that they push you. So this, I believe, will have the opposite effect, because then you will say, in my life, I will never deal with this guy. So markets are different. So let's say South America, for example, is more fast and it's more straight. Let's say China, Asia is more relaxed and it's more, they will take their time and they want the education and, they want the papers and they want all of this. Africa is more that, we will buy 1,000 car, but in reality, they want to buy 10. So then, you have to filter. So every sector has their way of dealing. Europeans are more that, everything should be 100% as you say. So, each continent deal a little bit in their way, and you learn by time of how they deal and which way you should act with them. But once again, you have 95% again when you come back to just being honest. So don't promise things you can't do. If something goes wrong, be honest. So when you keep this, you have 190% everywhere.
So as a first-time business owner, how do you usually go with the deals? Should you be following up with the clients every time and asking, what were your thoughts on this? Or should I be the person who just stands behind and wait for the client to respond to me?
Yeah.
Should I be proactive or reactive?
So
That is the question here usually.
if you're talking about my type of business, which is a lot of money involved. So let's say that you don't know me and you're living in Ghana in Africa, for example. You find my company on internet, you make some research, you say, okay, Nicolas Farago, okay, seems like a good guy. Okay, Farago Motors, okay, there is a webpage, there is this, there is a lot of reviews, and there is a lot of client testimonials, and blah, blah, okay, they seem legit. You contact Farago Motors, they say, okay, here is video, we are here, this is our showroom, here is the car, this is the VIN number, you feel safe. Then you send $50,000 for your first car. This is maybe the money you have been saving for 10 years. If I stop and I don't follow up with the guy from the minute I receive the money, because actually the deal is done, from I receive the money, I ship the car and it's done, the guy will be extremely stressed. His heart will be outside of the shirt. So we always give, updates like, okay, so today's Monday, here's your car, now it's going on the recovery, it's going to the port. Okay, here is photos. Now the car went inside to the port. Now it will take 4 or 5 days until we get the bill of lading. Okay, here is a copy of the bill of lading. Is all of your details correct? Is correct. Okay, then I print original. Okay, it will take 2 days to get the original. Now I have the original. Here is a copy of the original. I will send it by DHL. Please confirm your address. So, it's all of these steps to make them feel that, okay, we don't keep
their own path to customer journey.
Exactly. And when we keep it like that, they always feel so satisfied and they feel like, okay, I know every single step that is happening. Because let's say that you order anything from Amazon and it says it will come on Monday between 8 to 12. Okay. If Amazon call you at 10 o'clock and he said, you know what, we're on the way, but it will take 2 or 3 hours more, we'll be there at 4 or 5 o'clock. You don't really care because you know. But if you sit at home and you wait for it and it's 12 and 1 and it doesn't come, you start to wonder, is something wrong? So before you came to that point, you need to be transparent and you need to talk to the people.
For sure.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to those wanting to work with governments?
Okay, so government is it's complicated, and I wouldn't. My advice would be that don't try to go after government immediate as a new startup. Do it when you are at a certain level, because government will always be bigger deals.
So
And
how do you know when you're in that certain level to deal with the government?
so let's say in my business, if you sell 10 cars a month, you're not there. But when you come up to 500, 600, 700 cars and you have that capacity, then yeah,
So understand your market. Understand what levels of purchases being done.
exactly, because once again, the reputation. So let's say that you manage somehow to get a government deal and it's 100 cars and you can't do it because you don't have the capacity, then your name is burned, because the news travels very fast.
And I think you need to have the capital to also buy it.
Yeah, you need a capital, you need experience, you need all of this. And usually it will not be that you contact the government. The government will contact you, because so let's say
So it's never that you pitch to the government.
I mean, there is certain tenders that you can do, but that's usually not the big government deals. So usually how it will work is that, let's say that there is a government deal to Nigeria or whichever country, or Colombia or whatever. And let's say that the police force, they need to buy new pickups, and they need to buy 1,000 pickups for all of the police force. Maybe they will send some guys to the ports, and they will say, okay, we know that these kind of cars are coming from Dubai. Who is the biggest exporter from there? Like, which is the name you see the most on the bill of ladings coming from Dubai? And then, the customer will say, oh, let me check. But yeah, it seems that the biggest guy we're seeing is Farago Motors, because yeah, only this month I saw like 20 bills with that name. Ah, okay, give me a copy. And then they call, hi, blah, blah, we're from the government, or this and that and that.
Yeah.
And then maybe they invite you for a meeting, or they send you the tender specs, what they need. This is how it started a little bit for me, but now it's more word to word. So now they know that I'm usually the guy doing all of these kind of contracts. So now it's just spreading. So
Interesting.
now, luckily, I don't have to search so much customer. It's more that they are
They're
searching
coming
us
to
now.
you.
Yeah.
Instead of you going to them, they're coming to you.
And now it's more about, sometimes I have to be selective, because maybe some months the production is not so big and we're only getting maybe 300 cars, but maybe I can sell 500. So now it's more about choosing the customers and which customer can stay with us for a longer period of time. So yeah, it's weird how a business can change, from sitting 20 hours and chasing and calling until coming to a point where you have to be selective, or maybe telling some customers that I'm very sorry, but I have to prioritize these guys. So yeah, it's amazing how it can change.
I think this is because of your dedication, your hard
Yeah,
work. You reach a certain point of success where now your success speaks for itself.
yeah.
And that is the thing. So coming to the last
Yeah.
part of the podcast, what has been the most rewarding moment of your journey?
The most rewarding, well, there is two. So the most rewarding, uh, I would say, thing right now is to be able to speak about the journey, because it's quite a amazing journey what I have done. Started from zero and now until where I am today. And I hope that will give the confidence and give the, how to say, the spirit to other people to try to do the same. So that's one of the things that I love about this, that now I can sit here, for example, today and talk about this journey. It shows that it can be done, because there's many people that believe that such things can't happen, and that you have to be born a millionaire.
With
No,
silver spoon, rich.
exactly. The classical stereotypical mindset. It is possible. So that's something which I love about it, that I can sit and talk about this today. The second part of it is, the feeling that you make good life for the people around you as well. So I can help my family a lot today, which is one of the biggest reward. My daughter is living a fantastic life due to what I'm doing today. The people working with me are living good lives because we're working
It's a
together.
great feeling.
Yeah, so it's a great reward. Soon going into my 40s, and know that, yeah, I can take care of my parents whenever it's needed. I can take care of my family, close family. I can take care of the people close to me. The people working with me, they're living good, good homes, good cars, family. So I believe this is the great reward that because of my stubbornness and what I did, now it's not only me, but it's so many people around that can live good and ride on this wave together with me.
This is where financially being stable is really important to a human's life.
Yes, correct.
What excites you now about the future of your own work?
So I have a couple of plans and a couple of new visions because now we're trying to take it to the next level. Well, there is always a new level, and you can always be better, and you can always be bigger. We have various operations in other countries, but I believe now the next step would be to open up actual physical showrooms, and we're looking at some
Does
locations.
it have a showroom right now here?
No, here, but I'm
Okay.
talking about other continents.
Okay, but you have one here.
Yeah. I have the showroom here in Ras Al Khor, and we have as well inside Jebel Ali.
Okay.
So now what we're looking at is to establish Farago Motors with showrooms in areas like South America. We have in Africa, for example, in Ghana, in Poema, a big showroom there, and maybe in Asia.
Asia.
So this, I will believe, will be within the next 5 years. Right now we are in an expansion phase here in UAE, where we are buying more and more plots to be able to facilitate bigger stocks. But yeah, next step definitely will be to be present in other continents. Yeah.
If you could tell me one piece of advice that you would share with your younger self, what would that be?
To try to find the balance quickly. It's very difficult. In Sweden, we have a saying, it says that you're hitting the wall. So it basically means that you're walking blind and you walk into the wall, and then, you don't know where to look. To try to find the balance very quick, I believe, is very important. You need to find the balance between work, family, because it's very easy to overwork, and then you can't think straight, and then everything will just be very messy.
But what would be considered a balance? Because there could be different perspective of
Yeah, so basically we come back to what I said about effective hours. So what I believe is that I try to have certain hours in the day where I'm 100% focused only on work. So I take no private calls. I do nothing privately. So this is the hours for work. And then I try to put some hours which are only for family, or only for the daughter, or only for this. So quality time, this is what I believe, to have quality time. So instead of having a day of 24 hours, which are mixed between everything, and you don't do good at work, you don't do good with family, you don't do good with this, it's better to have very qualitative hours in each different segment.
Would you say like 2 hours is enough of quality time?
I mean, it depends. I mean, can I be in the pool with my daughter for 10 hours and have fun? Yes, I can. So no, but I rather spend 2 hours, for example, with the daughter in the pool, 100% focused with her, than in the phone 5 hours and I'm not attentive with her.
I got what you mean.
Because that will also put a bad image.
That you're still in a work mood zone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is what I believe, and this is what I have problem with as young, that I couldn't separate. So I was living with the work 24/7. So I was at work, came home, and it was work, and then sleeping work, dreaming work, and it's not a healthy way.
So at what age were you certain that you now became like this balance?
So it was basically when my daughter was born, then I start to realize that, okay,
And that was when you were
we're talking 10 years ago now.
10 years ago.
So that was basically when I realized that, okay, here is some things that are way more important in life. And yeah, I have to find the correct balance in life.
Very interesting. Where can people connect with you if they want to learn more about you and your work?
All right. So, well, for me privately, there is a lot of newspaper articles, etc., on Google. And for the company, social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
What is the name of the
Farago Motors, Farago and Motors.
All right.
Yeah, we are very present in all of those platforms.
Wonderful. Well, it was a pleasure to have you here.
Pleasure was mine.
Much for having. I'm sure the audience have learned so much about you.
Thank you. I hope so.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.